I'm going to bring myself up and say, hey, whoa, that was loud. This is Mr. Barry once again on the GCTV podcast, and once again by my side.
It's me, Nicholas Majeka.
There we go. And we're talking to you from pretty much the last day of school. There's a couple of tests next week, and there's graduation, but school is over. It's been an interesting year, that's for sure. And I wanted to talk to Nicholas a little bit about this place, about this crazy, wacky TV studio, this GCTV place up here that we've been finding ourselves at late in the afternoon for the last few weeks. When everyone else has left, it's still me and Nick here. So let me ask you a question. Well, first of all, let me just refresh your memory and anybody who listens to this. GCTV was founded in 1976, I believe, right around the time of the bicentennial. There was a bunch of bicentennial money given to the schools to celebrate and to do things with, and the English teacher thought it'd be a cool idea to build a TV studio, and he started out with one small room and one camera, and then over the years knocked through the walls, knocked through the bathrooms, and built the facility that we all know today. We're the second oldest TV studio in a school on Long Island. Great Neck was first, and we were after them by about 6 months, so we're pretty much the same age-wise as them. I still think, and I'm pretty proud to say, we're one of the leaders in this field in high school television. I think we're better than some of the colleges out there, actually.
Yeah.
And Tom Ruckert was the guy who built this place. He stayed here for, 20 years, I think, and then decided he would retire from the English department, went back to teaching English classes, and then I came in. And I luckily had Tom right across the hall to go pick his brain and ask him about how he does things up here. And so I had the fortune of having the guy who built the place right by my side for most of my first year, 2 years actually. And I've been here for 27 years. I'm finishing up 27 years. Nicholas, I met you here
like 2019.
2019. Did you have interest in television or film, or you just took the class because it was an elective, or what?
I mean, I didn't really expect the class, to be honest.
Right.
I mean, there's probably a lot of high schools out there that don't have, I guess, classes like this.
No, most don't actually.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't really interested in a lot of I wasn't really interested in a lot of movies back then. I mean, I was interested in I did watch movies, but they were mainly just cartoons and stuff. So yeah, which was typical for a kid, I guess. But I didn't really have any interest in big art house films at the time when I was 14, because I guess I was too young to see them still. Yeah, and I mean
Well, then let me tell you something. In 5 years, you've learned a lot about movies and film, because you seem to be a little bit of an encyclopedia about movies and film right now. You know a lot more than the average person in this building does about film directors, and so you've done a pretty impressive job since 2019 of learning about this stuff. So way to go.
Yeah, I guess.
So you just kind of ended up in the class.
I just ended up in the class.
Right.
And it was I guess a pretty weird experience. I mean, everyone there was. It was very cool, I guess, because to be in a place where you won't I guess get homework or whatever, but at the same time it was I guess I was just a little nervous. I was very nervous about starting high school, obviously.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the first day of high school is a very weird situation. You're just you're just put in this place where you get homework on the first day of school, and you discover there's a ninth period, but you obviously get used to it as your life goes on with
right.
it. And I just think that I mean, yeah, obviously obviously in elementary school it's a half day the first day, but once middle school starts, it's a very long day, which
it's
is
the real thing, right?
Yeah, but it's cool. I mean, I didn't have a problem with it or anything. I just I just immediately got used to it when middle school started.
I mean, what we've always tried to do up here, and this was Tom's belief, and is that's why there's that sign on the door. There's a sign on the door that says school, and the whole theory is that when you're walking out of these doors, you're walking back into school. But when you walk into GCTV, you're not in school. You're in a professional television studio, and that just happens to be in a high school.
I mean, the fact that the fact that this place like worked with several shows is like impressive to me. Like,
Well, thanks.
I mean, it's like very impressive. Like I didn't even know that. I mean, it seems like such like an underrated place, and it's like
Sometimes, yeah, it's a strange thing that, I've had people who've been in the district most of their life or lived here most of their life, and their kid comes to TV and they walk in here and they're like, I had no idea this place even existed. And that, I don't know if that bothers me or if I'm okay with it, that it's a hidden gem, or if it's like, well, why don't you know about this place? How did you not know that we have a beautiful TV studio here? It is unusual. It's becoming more and more popular in the schools, mostly because the prices have come down, believe it or not. When I first was here, my budget per year was like $120,000, which is a lot of money for a budget.
yeah,
Because a camera for me was $25,000. There was no computer editing, so we had to buy like a player deck and a recorder deck, and those were each like $5,000 or $6,000. So even the simple editing area could cost you like $10,000.
yeah.
And then you add a $20,000 camera on top of that. Nowadays, you can buy a good $2,000 camera and a $2,000 Mac, and you're set. So I think a lot of schools have started to figure out that this isn't a fortune. It costs money to do it well, but you don't necessarily have to have a fortune to build one of these places. You need a space, and you need someone who knows what they're doing, and that is a little hard to come by. There's not too many of me out there in the schools.
I feel like we need like more people like you out there. I mean, not to like,
thanks.
not to like flutter you in our ears.
No, you're not fluttering me or anything. Don't worry. You're right. I think it's the good thing about me, I guess, is that I do have industry experience, and I can talk about it because I went through it. My best college professors were the professors that came at night to teach a class. During the day, they worked in the TV business or the film business. So so having someone with industry knowledge is really important, and that's unusual in a high school because most people are just high school teachers. Most people don't have another career first where they do something else. So when North Shore High School was building their TV studio, they came here to look at this place and they loved it and they wanted theirs to be a lot like it. And then they brought the media art teacher over here to show it, and the poor woman nearly had a heart attack because she looked around and she looked at the equipment and she's like, I don't know what to do with all this. Is this what I'm going to be working on over at my school?
Did she like actually have a heart attack?
No, but the look in her eye was like, oh my God, what am I getting myself into? I don't know how to do any of this. And I said, well, you're probably not going to get this because we've been building this for 40 years, but you're going to get something like it. And to my knowledge, the North Shore School's TV studio is not a success. I think they built it and it's really not doing much. So it takes a lot to get this kind of a thing running.
Yeah.
But what we try and do for people like you, students, people like you, like a student in general, is we offer you a home, a place that you feel like it's a more comfortable place, and a place that it's not necessarily like school. And yeah, you are learning things here, but I don't want you to feel like you're in your math class when you're here. I want you to feel like you're in a TV studio.
I mean, yeah, I had a lot of as typical for people like me, as typical for a lot of people, I had, a lot of struggles coming here first. I mean, for example, I did enjoy the class. I enjoyed the classes, like, especially that class with the small room, which was which honestly I have a lot of memories for, honestly. And, I don't know what to say.
You're in broadcast journalism. That was the first class you took when you came here.
Broadcast journalism?
Yeah, that's why you were on the news. Remember, you hosted the news. We found that the other week.
No. I think the first class here was like that. It was like that big room, which which is I guess unusual, but
yeah. Well, it is meant to be unusual. And
no, I mean not like that way. I mean what I'm trying to say is that
That's right. I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what to say. I mean, I feel like I'm.
You must have learned something when you were in my first class because.
I mean, like, yeah, I learned a lot of things. Like, I learned about like how the news works, and
Right.
which was very typical. When I first started doing the news myself, I I feel like I did it in like a second take, basically. I mean, I did.
You were great. I remember that clearly.
Yeah, of course.
You know.
And I remember when I was done, the bell rang exactly when I was done, and that was a really good.
Yeah,
And that was
perfect.
like perfect timing.
Yeah. The one thing that I've always tried to do up here is I don't care where you come from or what grade level you are or how smart you are as a student academically or even if you don't speak a whole lot of English and you're taking this class. When your turn comes, your turn comes. And, you know, I stick a microphone in your hand or I put you in front of the teleprompter just like, you know, the next person. And because everyone gets a shot. And that's what I like, because sometimes you get someone like you who just totally surprised me, you know, that day when you hit it in like 2 takes, and, you know, the person who went the day before may have took, you know, 5 or 6. It's unusual to nail it as quickly as you did.
Yeah, I sometimes I feel like when I was like 14, I feel like I wasn't really good enough for a lot of stuff like that. I mean, it's like
Interesting.
I guess you know, I guess I'm that type of like I recently learned that I'm really good at dancing, and yeah, that and yeah, I was like once in the Glen Cove Library, obviously, and then I realized that I'm actually very good at dancing, especially like sometimes I thought I wasn't. Sometimes I thought my dance moves were like weird, and then I realized that, you know, I'm actually extremely good at it. I mean, like, I guess
you don't know, you'll try.
I mean, I mean, of course you can like try, of course,
right.
But, you know, but at the same time, if you're really good at it, then I guess that means that you were probably made for dancing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
true.
Or if you're really good at doing the news, then it means you're probably made for the news. I don't know.
Right.
And yeah, I guess it's like this endless cycle of like, you know, this endless really cool cycle about like people just like doing things that they never realized they're actually very good at.
Right. We had a girl here a couple of years ago who took TV 1 and 2, and, you know, she was good at the TV stuff, but she really didn't speak. You know, she obviously had a lot of anxiety and a lot of nervousness, and I don't know if she said, you know, 20 words to me in a whole year of school for TV 1 and 2. Next year, she signs up for broadcast journalism. And I thought to myself, what am I going to do with this girl when it comes time for me to, she has to be a reporter, you know, and she has to do what you did and host the news. I said, she doesn't speak, like, ever. And same thing I did with you and what I do with everybody. Alphabetically, her turn came. I put a microphone in her hand, and she turned on this entirely different persona once the microphone was in her hand, once she was standing in front of a camera. It was wild. She was, you know, hey, this is GCTV, and I'm here in the auditorium, and we're here for tonight's, you know, musical, spring musical. And I looked, and I was like, wow, like, who are you? There was this transformation that took place, and teachers would come up to me in the hallway, and they would say, how did you get her to speak, never mind be on TV? And, you know, I almost felt, you know, guilty, because I was like, I really can't take any credit for it. All I did was just make her feel comfortable and give her the microphone, and it was her turn. And she was great. And at the end of the year, I sat down with her and I said, you know, she won the scholarship that year for the TV studio. And I said, can I ask you a question? How did this happen? How did I put a microphone in your hand and you all of a sudden came to life and you're so comfortable in front of the camera? And she said, Barry, I have no idea. She said, something just happens when I have that microphone in my hand. I feel confident. I feel like a different person, and I can do it. And I said, well, that's incredible that happens to you. You know how rare that is, that someone could have like a total transformation just from trying something.
I mean, yeah,
You know?
everyone,
It was wild. It was wonderful to see.
yeah, I mean,
So,
everyone can have that. I guess.
if I can do that once in a while for our kids, then I feel like I'm doing my job up here. We do train a lot of people to be in TV. We do have a lot of success stories. We have kids in the news. We have acclaimed film editors. We have directors. We have all sorts of people out there, camera people, and they're doing very well. You know, Danny Casal is one of our biggest success stories. He's making millions on YouTube. I have another film editor who's winning awards all the time for things that she's edited, and So we do train people how to be in this business, but I feel like giving them a home is a little more important to me, and bringing something out of them that maybe they didn't know they had is actually more important to me too. So I think we did that with you a little bit this year in these 10 meetings that we had together.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you know,
you don't have to answer that because, as the guy who's been teaching you, I think it worked.
I mean, I feel like I guess I'm just speechless at this point. I mean, I guess,
wow.
I guess like,
I rarely have people speechless, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess, I mean, I just hope one day that you might find another student that might be as speechless as me, I guess.
I think I have. I mean, we have people. I mean, the funny thing is, I have hired 3 or 4 assistants over my time here, and four of them, I think I've hired 5. 4 of them have been former students, because people want to come back here and work and give back to the program that helped them. So, you're not the only one who has felt a strong connection to this place, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna miss this place a lot. I mean, like when you like, I think everyone knows this feeling, like when you just sort of dislike the place when you first see it, but then you start missing it when you get out, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, like, there's like.
Well, you did well, Nicholas. I think you did well up here with me. I think you did well with. You're a good editor.
Yeah, I guess
you're definitely a good editor. I watched you edit that Lonesome Highway thing without a problem. You're a good screenwriter.
Yeah, I mean, a fun fact about me is that when I actually once had TikTok, and I actually did use the filming techniques before. I actually did use editing techniques on TikTok.
Good.
And, for example, I did the cuttings, and I also did like some voiceovers and like of like someone who's off screen. I've somehow like learned how to do that apparently, and I just I was nervous about editing for the second time because I thought it would take me a while. I mean, editing takes a while. I get it.
Sure.
But it's worth it at the end because you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it.
Absolutely true. But boy, the other teacher in the other TV class, Valerie Lasser, she went here. She was a TV studio student, and then she became a big time film editor. And she's now here teaching the other TV class because she wants to give back to this place. But she'll tell you right away that editing takes an enormous amount of time and patience, and
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool actually because like it's actually it feels like I see a long journey, or I see a long thing as like a journey. Like you're starting on the computer, just like thinking about what you're doing, and then you edit it. You start editing, obviously, of course, all the scenes that are different, like for a big movie, and of course it's going to take a while, but it's there's a reason why it takes a while. It's because it feels like you're like on this big journey of like like you're in this movie or like random like sequence where you're just like editing. You're just like on the computer editing a scene, and of course day after day after day you're editing you're editing all the scenes, and at the end of the year or end of the month, then or end of a few months, then you've done it. I mean, that's it.
Right, you have a story in front of you, and if you do it well, you've told the story from start to finish, and you've told the story that the director wants you to tell, and that's unusual because sometimes, most of the time actually, the director isn't the one doing the editing. The director might be in the edit room, offering his opinions and his guidance. But most of the time, it's somebody alone, working through what they think the story is supposed to be and putting it together. And you're taking that person's vision and piecing it together. It's a big deal. So you were really good at that. Let me tell you, you're real good at podcasting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe I can try being a podcaster, but at the same time, I mean,
who knows?
I mean, yeah. At the same time, I'm not that. I mean, I feel like I have this feeling that if you have like a lot of interesting things happening in your life, then that means that then you have a lot of stories to tell. But I'm not that I had a pretty, I guess, typical childhood where, but I guess I had a pretty typical childhood. I mean, yes, things happen, but at the same time, I just feel like I guess I just didn't really have anything interesting happen. I mean,
Yeah, but don't sell yourself short, Nicholas, because you have a wide variety of interest and a wide variety of knowledge, and I've learned that from sitting here with you on these microphones and listening to you. You know a lot about a lot of stuff, about music, about movies, about TV.
I mean, I did a lot of drawing when I was a kid, and I also did like a lot of like, and yeah, I just I remember playing with the computer a lot as a kid. I mean,
Right.
yeah, and
That's why this stuff maybe appeals to you.
oh yeah, fun fact: when I was a kid, I used to play with like a bunch of video editors when I was a kid. Actually,
Oh, really?
yeah, I
See?
like for example, AMS video editor.
Oh, yeah.
And that I especially just like looking at the effects and stuff. And oh yeah, there's another video editor I also liked. It was like I forgot the name, but I think it was VideoPad video editor. And well, I mean, I guess those which I used to have fun with a lot actually. And like for example, I would like record random audios or just take random audios from my like 3DS. And yeah, I would take random audios or videos from my 3DS, and then I would just edit them in like this fun way, like
Right.
put like a layer added every second, and just see how it would go.
It's your vision. So you have vision, Nicholas. Don't lose that vision. Take that with you. And if I have contributed to that a little bit, then I've done my job. It makes me happy. So
Yeah, I mean, so
thanks is what I really want to say. Thanks for the opportunity to do this for this last 10 days or whatever that we've been doing this. It's been fun. It's been cool being up here and working with you.
Is today the actual the last?
Yeah, today's the last day of this. So.
Today's the last day of school?
No, today's the last day of our assigned 10 hours that we were supposed to finish. So,
Wait, when's the last day of school again?
well, Wednesday's graduation. So.
Oh, Wednesday's graduation. So I guess I'll be there. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, well, if you want to help us, I have shoot tomorrow at Connolly School early in the morning at 8 a.m. I have one on Monday at 8 a.m. I have one on Tuesday night at middle school, and I have one Wednesday night here at the high school for graduation. We're recording and we're streaming all of those.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, I'll send the schedule to your mom. So.
Yeah. I guess I'll think about it. So yeah.
All right.
But this was the podcast, and
Yep.
I hope that and I can continue my journey of just loving editing and just liking things for what they are. Just continue my life as it is. Really.
Go out there and tell some stories, Nicholas.
Yep.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot.
And this is Nicholas Majeka.
And this is Mr. Barry.
And we're signing off.
So long.
So long, everyone else.